Welcome to Band Bourbon and Cigars, where we discuss marching band stories and life situations. I am your drum major of the podcast, Mr. Reggie Anderson, and we have Mr. Herb Lenore, the rock of the podcast. And let's not forget our Miss Fancy Flo. Hey, lady, how you doing, beautiful? Yes. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest, a loving husband, an ordained minister of the gospel, an entrepreneur and tax accountant, CFO of LC Management Group in Oklahoma. He also is a graduate of the mighty Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High School. He also graduated from Talladega College and Rema Bible Training Center. I give to you the one and only, drum roll please, Mr. David Davis.
Welcome.
Hey, David.
What's up, fam?
What's going on, Dave? What's up, man? It's been a long time, man.
Man, just excited to be in the house, man.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. Let's look. He don't took his glasses off. He want everybody to remember who he is and everything. Look at that's what it is. We go way back, man. We go way back. Listen, we was having a conversation. You said, Reg, man, last time I saw you, we was in Savannah. Now you gonna have to refresh my memory, bro. Because
hey, do you remember that story though, Reg?
No, I don't. Savannah was a blur. We always talking about Savannah too.
Yo, so it was crazy, right? So at the time, I was the mascot, right? So y'all just got finished doing your field show. And after you finished the field show, when you hit the warning track, I tackled you. And so your whole band was like about to unstrap, you know what I'm saying? So LOL, right? Darren Battle. LOL actually was the one that tried to pull me off of you, right? And he grabbed my helmet, but the helmet was strapped underneath my shoulder, so you could only get it so far up. And I was like, I love you, baby. I was talking to you. I was drunk at the time. I was like, I love you, baby. I love you, man. And so when we finally got the helmet up, it was like, and then everybody just kind of just piled on. But I was hoping it wasn't gonna create that big of a deal. But y'all started to unstrap like we was about to fight. But you know, Darren was able to calm it down. But yeah, there was some crazy days, man.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, those days, especially being down in Savannah, man, it's a blur to me.
Oh yeah. So I went to Savannah. I went to Savannah my freshman year, and then I transferred to Talladega, but Savannah was a blur, for sure.
Yeah, definitely a blur, but I had a funky good time down there in Savannah, especially down there off that water where all those bars is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I remember that night. Absolutely. But yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started, man. I know Flo she got some questions for you and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying, just let it loose.
That's what's up.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. It's really great to see you again. It's been several millions of years, it feels like. But
don't tell our age. Don't tell our age, Flo.
Don't tell our age. You know, y'all getting older, not me. I don't get old. I just exist.
Like fine wine, Reggie.
She getting seasoned.
Yep.
There it is.
But anyway, so first question I want to ask to actually everybody. How would you normally describe yourself? And Dave, we could start with you. You could describe yourself first.
Yo, so, man, that's deep. How would I describe myself?
Oh,
complex, you know. By the time I graduated from high school, I kind of lived a whole lifetime, right? By the time I graduated from college, I lived a whole nother lifetime, right? Seminary, the same thing. So just complex, you know, complex and excited to be here. That's how I describe it. I'm a complex guy, excited to be here, and you know, I love hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I had to sum it up in one word, I'd say versatile. I mean, always been in a leadership position, always been a leader, no matter what. Is just ingrained in me for a fact. You know what I mean? Love people, love. You know what I mean? But don't take no shit off nobody. You know what I mean? A child of God, understanding that this way of life nowadays, like they were saying, man, lived a whole nother lifestyle. You know what I'm saying, before, and had a funky good time doing it. But being on this side of the track, man, is even better. It's even better. And when I say on this side of the track, I'm talking about, you know, understanding God, loving God, and allowing God to use me how he needs to use me. So that's how I explain me to this moment.
That's what's up.
Well, me just, you know, learning, you know, knowing that there's always new things to understand and learn out there. Growing up, it's just what people was doing. Look and see what people doing. Watch it. That's what I mean by learning, not just, you know, book learning, street learning. I'm talking about watching. You know, learning different attitudes, understanding everybody not gonna have the same attitude as you. So me, just the growth, change.
People watching.
What about you, Flo? What about you?
If I had to describe myself, the 3 words that come to mind would be compassionate, empathetic, and being of service. Those are 3 areas that I find joy in, and that's who I am. But I was just going to say that people watching is a very interesting pastime of mine. I enjoy it, just watching, observing people just in their natural element. It's just, you can tell a lot by just watching people. You sit and watch for 5, maybe 10 minutes. You know, you get to develop your sense of people, learning about certain things.
And that's what I'm talking about with that growth, you know, paying attention to people, watching people, seeing what they do, you know, understanding people, seeing what people doing differently than what you're doing, you know. Life is different from everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely. And speaking on that, just on piggyback on that, Ben, I learned that at a very young age. You know, and I had a situation, you know, growing up with a job, and man, somebody talked to me so damn good. Next thing you know, I was giving my whole check to him every damn week and shit like that, thinking that I'm the man. You know what I mean? So from that situation, I learned how to listen to people. Just shut your mouth and listen to what they're saying. 9 times out of 10, there's a back door to it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It ain't exactly what they're talking about that they're telling you. So, you know, I watch your actions. I watch your body language. I watch everything. I watch your tics and stuff like that. I can tell if you're lying to me or not. You know what I mean? So I'll watch all of that before I even say a word to you.
And then even watching people, or I'm sorry, not watching people, but listening in the conversation just to comprehend versus waiting on them to take a pause so you can jump in. That's the key too, because a lot of people, they just waiting to get their turn. Like, wait, this is my, just sit tight for a second.
It's
if you listen long enough, you can use their own words to support your own argument.
Yes, you know? It's definitely a skill. It's a skill to have. I think that's why a lot of relationships too end, because don't know how to listen. Don't know how to say.
That's very important. You know, listen to
relationships. I think people don't fight fair. Women, we tend to hit below the belt, but then you hit below the belt with us, and we are, and you know, it can go vice versa too. But I just know, in my experience, just a lot of men will share, my woman don't listen. She do this, she do, you know. And a lot of times, I've been one of those women that just wasn't listening, not intentionally, but just like I hear the words, but it wasn't going in and, you know, allowing me the space to reflect on it. I just would hear words. And I have to be intentional when whoever I'm dating, if they're talking, listen. Literally sit and listen and stop just waiting to pause to jump in, get your word in, you know.
I was just having that conversation with a young lady Thursday, and just talking about the same thing is that with men, we are emotional as well. We just don't show it because we're trained not to show it. You know what I'm saying? When we're growing up, you know, a little boy fall down, the first thing you tell him, get up, suck it up, right? Be hard. You ain't supposed to cry. The young lady do it. You pick her up, you kiss her, let me kiss your boo-boo. You even beat up the ground for her and all of that. But for a man, when we show our emotion to our lady, and we always do, if you don't nurture that when we open up to you, then we shut that down. We're shut down completely. It comes out every so often, but you have to know when it's coming out. Most of y'all don't know. Now,
I would fair say this, Reggie. It comes out. I mean, it comes out in a different way. We've been trained as men to emotionally respond in an aggressive way. So it may be punching the wall. It may be, you know, it could be a whole bunch of things. But we do show that emotion. We just been trained to show that emotion in an aggressive way, right? And so, you know, as a man, it's been tough trying to unravel how we show that emotion. I think we start that in our relationships, and we show a softer side of that emotion, but it's hard to get away from what you've always done or what society has always told you needed to do, and then program yourself to kind of deal with those emotions a little bit differently. So I would better say men are more emotional than women. We just show it in different ways.
Yep.
I mean, we got a whole prison system full of men and women that without emotional discipline, they can't even tell you why they did what they did.
And in most relationships, that emotion really comes out towards the middle, not the beginning. It's towards the middle, because you know in the beginning all you try to do is get with that person, talk to that person. Your ultimate goal is that middle is where you're showing your emotions. That end is either you don't care, or you're already at that point where you're just, you know, they know that emotion. So that middle part.
I think also it's important to recognize, and this is something I didn't know in my past relationships, was just that every man, you guys, even though you have emotion, you show it usually in aggression. Each man's level of aggression or how they're going to display that is going to be different. And as the woman in a relationship, and especially in the beginning, you need to pay attention to that so you know how to nurture it when it is exposed to you, and that you don't come across too harsh and make him shut down because you just didn't recognize that was your man showing, you know, his version of his emotions, you know. But these are things that we're not taught in relationships. We got to learn it the hard way, or by the time our second or third, or for some people, fifth and sixth marriages, you know, by the time you finally get it. I think that this is something that needs to be discussed more, especially with youth, explaining to them, because even in their relationship dynamics, you see, they emulate their parents, the little boys who want to snatch their girl up because that's what they see their daddies doing or their mother's boyfriends doing. So to them, that's normal, you know.
Now, can relationships be really taught, or is that something you learn as you go?
It needs to be taught, Herb. I'm gonna tell you why I think that's my opinion. I feel like it needs to be taught. It's because, you know, and I, you know, don't really want to make this a religious conversation, but the devil, that's all he got is your emotions. If you give it to him, right? So he's all about emotional. The way he was made was to manipulate the soulish realm. That's the way he's made. That's his gift. All gifts come without repentance. So if that's the way you made, that's his makeup, then that's the way he operates. He did the same thing with Jesus and everybody else. And so without emotional discipline, then you can be tempted, right? And so that temptation comes in so many different facets, right? And so, you know, if we begin to teach our children how to be emotionally disciplined, that's why I said train up a child in the way that you go, that he won't depart from it. So if we teach our children and we train our children how to have emotional discipline, then, you know, we ain't got to be looking around the corner all the time, because they're not moved by situations and circumstances.
But
right?
the problem with that is that the adults don't have emotional discipline, and that's number one. Then number two, most of the adults don't know how to teach or how to train because they didn't have the training. So how do we get to that point? You know, so I know, like for myself, like we talking, man, I had that same type of mentality, thought process. Well, this is what I know, because it's always nature versus nurture, right? So my nature around, which is my family, did a certain thing, especially the men. So for me, I'm like, well, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm the man of the house. I do and you do and I say and blah, blah, blah. But once I was going through my journey, and I'm always talking about this journey, I keep saying journey, one day we're going to talk about it in full. But it was one thing I've learned is that, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? So having that tool, somebody teaching me that tool, now I understand that in life in general itself. Do I want to be happy or do I want to be right? Because if I want to be right, I'm gonna argue your ass down all day long. Let's go.
But that goes back to listening, paying attention to other people. Being friends with certain people, they don't necessarily teach you, but you can learn stuff from them. Growing up, like you just said, your people was telling you, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. You didn't do it that way. You ended up doing it another way because you learned it from somebody else. So that's why I was saying, is it something that's taught or is something that you learn progressively throughout the time and, doing your relationships?
Everything we do is a learned behavior. Everything we do is a learned behavior.
Absolutely.
Yeah, life is learning.
Children learn from all the adults around them, whether the adults are actively teaching or not.
Absolutely.
Regardless of whether they're intentional with it or not.
That's not taught though, because you're not going up to that kid and say, "Hey, do it this way, do it like this, do it like this." You're doing stuff around them.
No, that's not just teaching because I'm talking to you and telling you and showing you and modeling for you. Teaching is you're using your five senses. So as that child is growing up and everything like that, they're watching you. They're learning by watching. They're learning by hearing things. They could be in the bedroom. Like when parents would tell us, go in the room, and they still be arguing. We still heard it. So we still learning from that. You know what I'm saying? It's the smell. When you go, when the sights, when we go to Detroit, first thing you know is that I'm in Detroit because these potholes and them liquor stores. You know what I'm saying? Just all of that is a learning behavior. Is your environment is always teaching you no matter what is going on. So nobody don't have to be in front of you saying anything. It's just through those five senses. That's why when you have these kids now with these laptops in their face, they're learning from their computer. 2-year-olds know how to swipe better than we know how to swipe. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely, bro. Yeah, they always. Well,
I guess that's the misunderstanding what we having right now. Taught and learning. It's the definition of taught and the definition of learning. You know what I'm saying? They're two different things or one thing.
No, it's two different things. You can be taught to drink water, but if you ain't learned how to drink it, then you just gonna keep spilling it on the floor.
But that's what I'm getting at. You're not taught to be emotional. Well, you taught to be emotional, blah blah blah, everything you were just saying. But I'm saying, learning and taught in these relationships. You're learning this stuff, as time go by. You're not taught to be like this in a relationship, especially nowadays.
Yeah. Some people just innately have some things that others just don't, right? And what I mean by that is, So my dad used to always say, he had a saying, he said, it's easy living when you make the rules, right? That was his saying. And I used to be like, but Dad, I was like, I think it's better. I said, I think it's a lot easier that I don't make the rules. I just live by them. Right. And so what I mean by that is I just learn from other people's experiences. Another one he used to say is experience is the best teacher. I used to say, no, I think the best teacher is watching somebody else. If you go hit your head up against that wall, or the bridge is out down there, I'm not about to just drive my car full speed and find out the bridge is out. You know what I'm saying? You just let me know the bridge is out. I'm going the opposite way. Let's remap that joint.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I wanted to kind of give an example. So I think that men are taught, boys are taught to repress emotions. And as they get older, they learn that expressing them is weak or all of those negative attributes that go with it. Is that a fair explanation of learning versus teaching?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And what I try to do differently with my son, I try to give him space to express his emotions, but I'm always telling him he has to learn to control them, because as soon as anybody outside of you figures out what buttons they can push, now you're their puppet. And I used to use this saying in the classroom when I was teaching. I would tell students, you're not a booger. Don't let nobody pick you. And when I said it, it was joking behind it. But of course, they thought like, oh, yeah, people do. They did. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you're not a booger. Don't let them pick you. You know, and that little simple, funny statement helped so many of them 8th graders realize, like, okay, I ain't your booger. You ain't about to pick me. You can walk away. You can ignore. You know, and then the other saying was like, when two people are arguing, you can't tell who the fool is. I can't remember exactly how that saying goes. Yeah, but if I walk into class and see you arguing with Jimmy, I know Jimmy likes to argue, but I don't know if you like to argue too, but y'all both look dumb, you know? So just.
And, you know, people change, you know what I mean? Because I used to be that guy. Like, I used to be the guy who, when you said something that wasn't true, like, or trying to pick an argument or something, like, I literally used to walk away. I'd be like, and then I just walk away. And so now, like you said, Reggie, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Now sometimes, and I got a heart for people, so now I'm trying to get you to understand that you're wrong, right? So I have to now, like, I gotta govern myself with that. Because sometimes, like you said, it'd be two people having a conversation, then you can't figure out who the fool is. You know what I'm saying?
You're so busy trying to prove to them that fool that they wrong. They don't care.
They don't care. They argue with you.
No, and still want to keep arguing because you want to keep arguing. You ever met people like that? I know the sky ain't purple, but I'm gonna keep arguing because you don't think it's like, sir. Yeah. This is a stupid argument.
Well, like that.
Herb, to speak on it, Herb. You spoke up on that one. Speak on it, Herb. He said, "Yep." He said that quick. Yep.
Don't know
exactly like that.
Mr. Billy Cool Breeze does not like his name revealed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you know.
What is Billy Cool Breeze?
Hey, Cool Breeze is the third part of me and her.
Oh, wow.
Listen, man, me and this guy would go at it, man, every damn night, especially the weekends.
Down house.
Man. It was a time, quick story. There's a time I'm talking to the young fellas and I'm telling them about how you have to build your life or a relationship, whatever it was I'm talking about. But I say you always have to start with the foundation. The foundation is everything. If the foundation is weak, the house will fall. That was my gist. And bro say, just because he broke, he say, well, why does it have to start with the foundation? Why can't you start with the roof? Why can't you build the roof first? That's exactly what I did. So we go at it. We argue for hours and stuff like that. But we didn't call it argument. We call it just heated debates. That's what we had.
Yeah.
I go down to Orlando and we drive it and I look over to my right. I don't know if y'all ever been to Orlando. There's a place called Wonderworks, where Wonderworks is a museum, and it's built.
You saw a house on the bottom.
Yeah. It starts with the roof. I was like, man, I gotta apologize to this dude.
So
hey, did you send him a picture?
No, but I did send the picture. I sure did. I did. I said, man.
So take the picture from me. It's the roof.
Oh, I got you.
The house.
It's built upside down.
It's upside down. You go in the door. You go in the door through the roof.
Yeah,
that's how it is. It's a museum. I like, man. It's called Wonderworks down in Orlando. So yeah, that's what he's laughing about.
Is that his? He probably built it.
Yeah. But talking about like emotions, man. As a teacher, most adults don't know how to even explain emotions. We'll say happy, sad, mad. Those are the three that you hear about all the time. But what is happy? How does it look? How does it feel? So these are the things that I'll be teaching in my classroom, you know, and I'll do a whole lesson as if I'm sad. Yeah, what emotion is that? What did y'all see? What did y'all feel? How did that make y'all feel? You know what I'm saying? And then I'll do a lesson on just being angry. Now I'm speaking very loud and how it sounds and how it looks and hand signs to it and everything. And they're like, oh, you're angry. So now what can we do? What do we do if somebody's angry? What can we do if you're angry? You know what I'm saying? Those type of things, how to handle those emotions. That's how you teach about emotion. But mostly people don't teach emotion. They just say you either happy, sad, or how you feel. Well, they don't know how they really feel, how it feels to be confused and things like that and what you can do. Well, y'all, I got this little corner over here that's called the hug rug. This is what you do. You stand there face to face, and you tell that person what you didn't like, what they did to you. Explain to them exactly what you did. Now, that person have the right to not want to explain back to you why they did it. But if you're a true leader, I'm always talking about leaders, you know, say you're a true leader, you'll say, I apologize for hitting you, or I apologize for taking your paper. Now y'all can hug it out or whatever. So now that's teaching them that conflict resolution, because we're not taught that either. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Yep. Do it, because everybody's always stepping in and doing it for us. Your mother step in and do it for you. Your father step in and do it for you. Your teachers are stepping in and do it for you to talk about, well, what happened? Who did what? Who did this? Why did you do it? No, let them kids learn how to do it. And I'm just a mediator. That's it. So it teaches them that too. So that's how you got to do it.
I love that, Reggie, because you know, your emotion dictates your intellect and your imagination. It shapes your intellect and imagination. And so your brain doesn't make a decision based upon information. It makes a decision based upon how you emotionally connect to information.
Absolutely.
Right. So, you know, that in a sense, man, could really shape their future. You know what I mean? The things that you're doing. That's why those teacher roles, man, I commend both you and Fancy. But I was about to say something else, but Fancy, right? So I commend you guys for being in the roles that you're in, man, because it's telling me that our children, our future, man, is heading in the right direction. You know?
Oh, well, that's another whole conversation in that, though. But we ain't gonna get up.
Well, you there, man?
I mean, that's one in a billion, bro. That's one in a billion.
Hey, but that's all right. That's all right. I mean, you can only deal with what you got.
That's true. That's true.
That's it.
I wonder.
Hey, Dave, when was the first time, man, you had love for music, that you knew that you were gonna play an instrument? Who brought that to your life?
Yo,
how did that go?
This is crazy. We had that conversation the other day, right? So there's a dude named Eddie Murray, who was the band director at Hampton Elementary. Okay. And so, you know, this is funny, man. So I wanted to play the trumpet. You know, I was a Miles fan. He's not the, you know, a bass. So I want to play the trumpet. So Eddie told my dad, well, he needed to learn how to play the saxophone before he played the trumpet. Now that's some foolishness we understand now. My dad was a musician, but he needed some saxophone players. So that was his way of saying, you about to play the sax, you know what I'm saying? Right. And so started playing the alto, man, really loved it. Was in the concert band, jazz band. So we kind of combined with Go Lightly back in the day. And so, you know, we was gigging at elementary. I mean, I'm just saying we did jazz gig, concert band, and then, you know, eventually King. But man, music has been, and I would just say, I love music just as long as it's groove, you know. And so, you know, I'm an old head, man. So you can name.
Oh man, that's the freeze.
And we're back. Yeah, so
you mentioned you're a Miles Davis fan, the trumpeter.
Actually, as a young kid, and I don't even remember what age I was, my dad, he used to play, he had this collection of Nat King Cole.
Dave, is your dad still alive?
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Is it a storm in the air or something?
No. I'm in Kentucky.
Where you at?
I'm in Atlanta. We good on this side.
No, it's look.
Sunshine, blue sky.
It's sunny. It's sunny sunshine where I'm at.
All right, so
can you hear? Okay.
Y'all ready?
Yep.
We're trying.
So I would just dig in the crates, man, and so like everything from, you know, Joe Henderson Big Band to Dizzy to Pops to any and everybody that you can think of, man. I was putting them on the record player, man, getting it out. Satchel to, man, anybody you can think of. Birdland to just anybody from the 20s up.
You still have the record?
I got a lot of them. My son, he like to do the same thing, man. He go in there, he pull up Ashford and Simpson. I mean, he just like, I got a record player on my desk right now. He just like to, put it up, put it on, just chill.
I still have my record player from my childhood. Do y'all remember when Fisher Price had those brown record players?
Oh yeah. I
have mine.
Wow.
Yep, and it still works.
And then you say at the beginning of this podcast, don't tell your age.
I mean, I still have mine, but I don't age. I don't know I don't know how to explain it to you, Herb.
Hey, Herb, fine wine, man.
Listen, man, look, I'm looking at the foot, man. We still look good, man, for whatever age we are. You know what I mean? Some that did not make it just looking good at this age, for real.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. So, Dave, what you doing with yourself now, man? What's going on in your life now? What's going on?
So, man, we started the podcast. Like I said, I'm CFO of a management company. We manage professional and college athletes. We're about to start a talent side of it. Moved to Atlanta, but lived in Oklahoma for 15 years, so that was a little different. Went there to go to seminary and pastored while I was there. Was one of the associate pastors and was a legal redress for the NAACP, the state president for the SCLC. So was one of the founding members of the Black Wall Street Chamber of Commerce in Tulsa, and sat on the Oklahoma City Chamber Board. So I went in there and got involved in advocacy work and for the African American community, and just been loving life, man. Life of service,
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's it. So,
we started this podcast, man, because being all ex-marching band members and things like that is to help people understand that we went through this marching band thing, elementary, middle school, high school, college, and we're doing great. We're doing good on the opposite side of that everybody's not gone to the streets or went to prison or passed away. You know what I'm saying? And we look at it like the work that we put in for marching band, and then the work that a football player put in, or basketball, or baseball, where they go off and they get paid. There's a national football, national something, but marching band is forgotten about when we're part of all of those genres throughout school and things like that. And I'm hoping to be able to bring awareness to marching band that it's a great thing to be in. Yes, there's stories that you'll have. Marching band have paved the way for a lot of us to go to college and to get our education in the fields that we're in. But we were able to make it out of these situations or places and cities that we grew up in, or situations that we grew up in, and do better for ourselves and have families and have entrepreneurships and have jobs and careers in our lives now, man.
But I can give you some similarities, if you will, to like the MLB. For a long time, wasn't a lot of black players playing in the MLB, right? They wasn't soliciting us as players anymore. They were soliciting, Latinos, right, or Spanish players, right? And so they saw a huge dive in terms of viewership and those type of things. Similar to bands, right? Think about this, man. When in the 70s and the 60s, all throughout the 20s on up, we controlled the charts, right? And so, we live in a different age and day, and day right now where but we're doing a good job of getting a large amount of that monetization.
Yeah.
Right. And so taking instrumentation, taking music out of the public education, and being very instrumental in doing so, creates a space that they can that people that look like you can thrive off of.
Mm-hmm.
Motown, for example, a lot of those guys didn't have formal educations, right? And they, Harvard industry, right? Because now we're talking about publishing dollars, we're talking about writing, we're talking about a whole nother aspect of the music business that makes you a monster, right? So, where is rhythm and blues now? I mean, we don't see it. Hello?
Yeah, now you back. Yeah, you think he's freezing. Well, you gonna put me to work, boy, Johnny, edit this joke.
Maybe I should put some smoke in the air.
I'm thinking the same thing, but want to wait till that it's clear.
The story is good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some good stuff. There you go.
Yeah. I was saying, like I said, where's rhythm and blues now? Where are those places where we were topping the charts? It's not a space that. You guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not the same type of space for us right now, which creates havoc, right? So, every major movement that we've had in this country started with music. Civil rights music, the civil rights deal started with the music.
Oh, everything.
And it maintained it. But that was the messaging, whether it was through notes or whether it was through your writing, or whether it was through just it's strictly soulish. Where it's actually spiritual that is received from a soulish standpoint. And so if they can shut that down, then they can immobilize you.
Okay, I see where you're coming from with that one. Well, we're gonna keep speaking on. We definitely gonna keep speaking on it, man, because we need to have. I want to see marching bands get paid, not as the whole thing, but individually, that it becomes a job, right, or a career.
And they go start recruiting this with the same energy they recruit these athletes.
Absolutely. Recruit with the same energy like you're doing in college. They have the mass bands going on right now. I think it's a great thing. I like it. Where people can get in, but everybody's doing volunteer work to be in these marching bands and be in these bands. It's volunteer. Where you put in all those long hours and practice and all that kind of stuff. That's volunteer stuff for something that you love. But I still believe, man, you should get paid for the things that you love to do.
Absolutely, I agree.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, we're at a part of the podcast where we say we put some smoke in the air. It's time to put some smoke in the air. And what we mean by put the smoke in the air is that you have to tell a story, being that is good, funny, or different, or chow chicka bow bow, however you want to tell it. You know what I'm saying? The only thing we ask is that you don't say no names unless you want to say some names. If you want to say the names, it's cool with you. But if you don't want to say no names, you ain't got to say no name. It's your story. However you want to be.
Fancy, tell us a band story. Tell us a good story.
We asking you.
Yeah.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I got a funny band story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this is Savannah State Story. So I was the mascot. So down here we were doing Morris Brown's homecoming, right? So we and this is BC for me. So we coming from Savannah at like 5 a.m. So I started drinking from the time I left. So guys, you squeeze a bottle full of whatever you got. So by the time I get to Atlanta, I'm like wasted, right? but I got to put on this hot uniform, and it's like 110 degrees, and we got to do a parade before we even get to the game, right? So I get through the parade, and I pass out, like right when we marching into the deal, right? So the ambulance get me, and you know, I'm in the ambulance deal, so they giving you fluids, they pouring these fluids into you, you know what I mean? So I'm chilling. So after that, I go back out because I gotta do the field show, right? So we had 3 majors. So I rounded off the 4th, right? On our field show deal, right? So we do the field show, I round out the 4th, and I pass out again after we get off the field. So I pass out again. They put fluids in me. So by the end of the 4th quarter, I'm back out, right? So I'm back out, but I decided to go over to Morris Brown's side, and me and their mascot, which is another tiger, get into it. And like we are fighting, like we like throwing blows, right? So we wind up, the game was close all the way to the end. So we wind up winning the game at the end, but nobody knew who won the game because everybody was into the fight.
Oh boy, you down there wilding. You down there wilding.
Who passed out twice, then gets to a fight?
I passed out twice and then got into a fight. And then found myself, and Dr. Slack was the dean at the time at Savannah State. So I found myself with Dr. Slack and Dr. Brown in their office about whether or not they gonna, you know, take any actions because I was, you know, involved in this activity, right? And so I'm going through this deal. So they had me explain myself. And so at the end of the day, I was like, I won the fight. Right?
Hey, man,
like, why am I here? I won the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
They just shook their head and let me go.
Dang.
I was like, if I lost, I could see why I'm sitting in here. But I won the fight and we won the game.
Like, what did I do wrong?
And that was my stance. That's all I had.
Really, you were serious? Like, why am I here? What I do wrong?
No, I was serious. I was at that time. I was on a presidential scholarship, and like the student union piece, man, I had a credit card and everything. Like I was like a stable at Savannah State, and I was just a freshman. It just through relationships worked it out and was doing well. They just had to go through the process because of what happened. But I was literally sitting there like, yo, I won the fight and we won the game.
I have a question. So do you still not understand why your demeanor and how you felt in that moment? Do you understand now why it might have been a little out of place?
Oh no, I understood then.
Okay, that was just your heel you was gonna die.
No, I mean, I understood then. I understood that was probably expulsion worthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But from my standpoint, I was the mascot. I was the spirit of Savannah State.
So you couldn't take no ass whooping. You couldn't.
Yeah, and then I picked the fight too on their side. Yo, it was going down. I tried to leave. Nah. Pick the fight. I mean, I picked the fight by going over there. But when it got physical, I had to do what I had to do.
So did they expel you?
No.
Okay. I was like, okay.
No.
So you
matter of fact, I left the office. That was on a Friday. I left the office and went to my crab boil guy and spent like $2,000 on the crab boil for the yard the next day.
So it was a celebration. Mazel tov.
But that was like a week later. Now I think about it. That happened on a Saturday. I had to go to the office on Friday. We had a home game that next Saturday, and I did a crowd ball on the yard that Saturday.
I don't have a story to top that one.
Yeah. I thought Reggie's was a good one though, but Reggie don't even remember that story. Me tackling him on the
see,
you know what?
Just like you said, just like you said, you never mentioned again that because you was fucked up. That's why you starting fights and everything and needed fluid.
Right.
Notice he keeps skipping past that part.
We done been there before. We know.
Listen, like, it was the same. It was the same thing, man. When I was in my thing, you know what I mean. I would get so damn fucked up and stuff like that. I thought it was cool to get fucked up and go perform.
I did too.
And it was not until I went down to Miles, and I'm drum major at this particular time.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that heat at Miles is a different type of heat down there.
It's different, bro.
And I'm doing my thing, and I know immediately when I hit the field that I am not 100. And I have to, and I flex, which is the bend back, which is a flat bend back on the ground without my mates. And I'm knowing I am not in a good place where I could do this and still hold that position without being embarrassed in somebody else's stadium.
Yeah.
And man, that heat was on me so tough because I have been drinking all night and up all night and stuff like that. I vowed never to do that again. Yeah. So from that day forth, I never drank anything until after I performed, man. So I get what you're saying, bro. Yeah, them fluids.
And that was the last time for me. I mean, everything else was night, but I started that early in the morning, and I had to do that parade, and that, that was different, man.
I was about to say, I've never done that and been drunk at a band performance, but I remember the one time I did it. So I went to U of D. I was in the pep band, and we had a trip. I think our team had made it to like the Sweet 16, and we were in New York, I think. And I think I shared the story with you guys. One of the girls in the band who's from like Manistee, Michigan, her daddy sent her a lot of money, and she took everybody to Steak and Shake, and they were drinking Jägermeister. That next day, this was of course the night before. That next day, the game might have been at like 2:00. We on ESPN. The band is playing around me. My goofy ass is sitting there like this. My daddy calls. I'm in the game like this, like, hello? He like, why are you not playing? I'm looking at you on the TV. I'm like, and then when I got home, he laughed at me. He was like, I knew you were drinking. I knew. He was like, because all this noise and you sitting there like, oh God.
Wow.
I was so wasted and so embarrassed.
On TV.
And got caught by my daddy. I told you how he was always working. He could always find me when I was doing. See, and at that point, the TV brought me to him. I remember that though. Yeah, never again.
Oh, hey, Herb always trying to bag out of it. Be like, I hope they don't ask me, and you know I'm gonna ask you.
It's more about trying to think of a story. Life is crazy. So being in this crazy life, there's always something that goes on. So back in the day, I think phrasing.
Don't be trying to fake like your
Yeah. You see I did that all real quick.
Look at him. He done throw him 6 minutes.
I can tell because his face moved to the word.
We are not fooled though. We're not fooling us. So tell the story.
Herb, did you go to Kentucky State too?
Yeah, I went there.
Okay, all right.
There was a lot of stuff that went down there too. It's just not hitting my head right now at the moment.
Oh,
I get it.
Oh, you should tell. Hey, what about that smoke session that we had that night? That I vowed never to smoke again with your ass.
Oh yeah, that was me. He clearly don't remember it.
Nah.
He remember as soon as I start talking about it, he'll remember it.
Yeah, go
Help
ahead,
him
start. No, you go ahead, bro. Tell me
Was that story where he had on that pink thong and he was running around with
Right. I don't
the
know about all that. I don't know nothing about all that. Oh, she trying you, Herb. She's trying you.
Dare you, Flo?
She's trying you.
Oh, that wasn't you. Okay, I'm just trying to see if
No,
he
man.
like, wait a minute now. That was not me.
Definitely not.
One night, me and her stayed together. We lived together. You know, so this is my fraternity brother and stuff. So you know, I mean, we stayed together. So we just end up at the house together one night, and we blowing and everything. We smoking, and then he's laying on the couch, and I'm watching TV. I'm just sitting there. I'm in the other chair, and the next thing you know, his damn toes get to wiggling and shit. And then the motherfucker just jumped up like it was somebody breaking in the house. So I'm like, what the fuck wrong with you, man? And he was like paranoid, looking around and shit. He went, looked in the oven, he looked in the kitchen, then he walked out and went in his room and slammed the door. Like, this motherfucker crazy.
You had pissed him
the
off.
next thing you know, he's pulling on the door. But the door comes, you know, you have to pull the door towards you to open it. But he's pushing on it, thinking that the door opens that way. He done locked his damn self in the room and everything. But the door is not locked. I said, bro, I'm never smoking with you again, man. You get too damn paranoid, boy.
Hey, yeah. Nah, that's why I don't smoke, because I already fight everybody. Well, I used to be like that, so now, man.
If nothing else, don't smoke and hang out with Dave when he in his mascot uniform, because y'all gonna end up with mugshots.
Yo,
yeah, right.
That was never a thing for me. It was never a thing for me. Like I felt like it was like it made me feel like I had mothballs in my throat or something, like shingles or something.
Oh man!
But drinking was my thing. I could drink.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. That was my addiction as well at that time, for real. So, Dave, man, what were some of the things that that you feared getting into marching band, either when you first got into a marching band or when you was in the marching band? What was something that you feared?
I ain't never really been a big component of fear, if that makes sense. You know, the musicianship, really. I mean, you know, as a crowd, I mean, you can remember this, Reggie. I really wasn't into, you know, that other stuff, the disciplines or whatever. I just it wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? So, you know, if we gonna fight, we gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, but the music piece was just making sure, because I had Taki was my section leader, and then Poot was my section sergeant. Anton Dura.
See, I remember him.
Yeah. He said Poot. He said Poot. So, you know, I had they were amazing saxophones, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so you know, the musicianship part of it was more of a fear than anything else. You know, I came from a place of discipline, so I you know, the rest of the band wasn't an issue for me. You know, me and Greer was tight, so that wasn't an issue. But yeah, I mean, I would say the musicianship, because it was competitive when we were in the band. Like,
absolutely,
you couldn't just be playing.
Yeah,
you couldn't just be space. You know what I mean? So that's it. And then, you know, man, think about that. I had Larry, right? You remember tall Larry?
Mm-hmm.
I had Larry, Taki, Poot, then me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we had who else we had?
Who was that guy?
Then we had Winter. Y'all remember Winter?
I remember the name.
Yeah. Winter Deans.
Yeah. So Winter played the tenor. Like, man, we had a section. I mean, if you think about it, I'm just when I say a section, we had a section of musicians.
Yes.
So, and I couldn't just be in there and not know the music. You know what I'm saying? So that was, I think that was the biggest thing for me. I don't think it was a fear, but it was like, nigga, you better know your stuff.
Yeah, you want to step up. Yep.
Yeah. You gotta step up.
Yeah, I got a story about Anton when because my first year's drum major at K-State, we end up at Tuskegee, right? We play Tuskegee every year. So I get out there, I do my thing. So we at the hotel and Poop pull up on me and everything. So we there. He was like, bro, he said, I was watching. He said, I just know your stance and how you do. He said, I told them, I said, watch, he about to do this. Watch, he about to do this. And he about to end with this. He said, oh shit, y'all in trouble now. Y'all in trouble now. You in trouble.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, man, we had a good time, man. Had some good time.
That's what's up.
Look,
yes.
Look. So who was some of your biggest inspirations, man, being middle school, high school, college, or, you know, or now? Who's some of your biggest inspirations?
So, you know, I don't know if y'all remember this, but I played golf. So I played collegiate golf. It's how I paid for college, right? And so I went to an HBCU. I would fair to say my biggest inspiration was Cosby.
Okay.
You know, I could have went anywhere. I could have went Pepperdine, Arizona State. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all remember that. I mean, Reg, but I was first team All-City, All-State, All-American.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, you know, I went to HBCU because of Cosby. You know, my parents didn't go to college, you know, and I went to King, but I had a scholarship to Cranbrook. I did.
Make sure you stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. And so I would Cos is my biggest inspiration, man. He provided through the Cosby Show in a different world, they provided an outlet that I just saw myself in. You know, I'm an accountant by trade. My wife is a physical therapist, and we look like the Cosbys.
Yeah.
That's
you know what I mean? I've got two little ones, but you know, it's a direct result. She graduated from the HBCU too. She Tennessee State.
Okay.
What you over there doing?
Monitoring.
Okay. What are some of your fears?
All right, so
as we answer that question.
Oh man.
Now you don't heard when I told you he ain't got no fears.
Nah, I ain't never told you that. It's always gonna be the same.
That keeps you up at night right now.
Failure to the ones I love.
What?
Failure to the ones he loves.
Failure to what to love?
No, failure to the ones I love. You know, meaning if I can't get this done, if I can't do this, if this is not good enough for them, it's not. That's always been my fear. You know, everything else, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But me trying to control something that I can't control, or just failing at something that I need to succeed at, failure to the ones I love. That's all.
That's a real fear. Yeah, it's realistic.
Yeah, absolutely.
That just made me think about Dave's statement about his peers that he plays saxophone with, and just not being able to rest on just physically being there. How they pretty much call you to your greatness. You got to step up, you know. So for me, one of my biggest fears is not being able to provide and sustain my family, but then also just being complacent with where I am and not stepping into my greatness or not continuing to grow, you know. And every time I was in the classroom, anytime I interact with students, I'm a big proponent of encouraging them and pushing them. So how big of a hypocrite would I be if I'm not encouraging and pushing myself, you know? So
Right.
I need them to see that everything I'm speaking on them, they can see evidence of it in my walk, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, boy. Now I got a question. You ain't got to answer. Dave, you still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do want to answer, but I got a fear now. I thought you was talking about when I was sitting in the band. You said when I was in the band.
Mhm.
Now I think my biggest fear is, what does unhooking from the world system look like for me? And what I mean by that is like really depending on God for everything. What I mean, like I really, you know, I do well in the things that I do, but I just really I want to do His thing, and that's a I haven't been able to just put everything else down because you got bills to pay and this, that, and the third.
I understand what you
But
mean.
the things that He's shown me, once I get to that other side, I ain't really worried about. I ain't gonna have to worry about none of that. But trying to unhook from it has been, you know, 4 or 5 year wrestle for me.
Yeah.
But you got-
Trade-off is a struggle.
Yeah,
But you got-
it's because I know this system so well. I think, you know, but I don't really know his. I know what it says. I know what it. I know. I know. I know that I can conceptualize it, but I ain't just really walked by faith. I ain't stepped off that ledge to see that other piece appear as I make the steps. If that makes sense.
That's exactly what I was about to say to you, brother.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We always been on the same page, right?
I'm just about to say that to you, my brother.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to experience God's love and what He's going to do to you and do for you in your life, is that you have to have that faith. And I always bring up that question about fear, is because fear drives you from stopping you from doing any and everything in life. Whatever it is you want to be, whatever it is you want to earn, whatever it is you want, fear is that one element that keep us from getting it. So walking through that fear, even though you don't understand what's going to be on the other side of that and what you're going to go through, once you go through it, you're still going to be all right, no matter what it is, because God provides for us for what He wants for us, not for what we want from us all the time. Now, He does give us what we want, but we got to be very, I can't say this word, so y'all better not be joining me and stuff after I said specific with what you asked for. Right?
Did you say?
You heard what I
he
said.
said specific. He cleaned it up.
Yeah, but having that faith of a mustard seed, I have a mustard seed on my table sitting right in front of me right now. It's very small. So if you have faith of just a mustard seed and go through that, man, you can unhook from life. I've unhooked from life. Unhooked. The old Reggie and Reggie that people know, either middle school, high school, or either college, is no more. People be like, man, you did change, Reg. Like, man, ain't that I changed? I'm still Reg, right?
Yeah.
I'm still me. But those things and decisions that I was making in that decisions that I was making during my drinking days, you know what I mean, and growing up days, and how I thought, man, is totally different now. Every day, man, has to be about God. And what I mean by that, and not to, you know, some people say, man, you talk about God, you won't turn people off. Well, so be it. You know what I mean? Because it's not for you, right? And it's not saying that I leave everything by God. It's just that I want God to be in front of everything that I do, because I don't have control of what I do all the time, right? We would think of something that just happened and we just do it. So it's like, okay, whatever I'm going to do today, God, you take control of that. I want today to be about what you want for me. And what that is going to be what it is. I mean, we having this conversation now. We didn't know we was going to end up in this conversation, but this is going to be on the podcast. And now somebody else going to have that conversation. So, hey, man, unplug. Just take one day at a time.
That's it. That's it. And stack days. That's it. Stack days.
Yeah. Now, I use one moment at a time. I stopped saying one day because I could do a hell of a lot in a day. But in this moment, I got me a bottle of water, and I'm going to drink my water.
I think that people who talk about God all the time will only turn off the people who are not receptive to God. But what it still does, though, is it lets that person know that should they ever have any, whatever, they dealing with some stuff, you are definitely a person they can come to. If nothing else, they know that. And they might be like, oh, they always talk about God. Yeah. And they going about whatever they doing. But as soon as they get in trouble, though, they're like, let me call Reggie. He always talking about God. He'd be able to help me through this. So you still want to be a witness for him, because those people who might be turned off initially might not stay turned off, you know. And if I'm not mistaken, that's really part of what the goal is. He wants you to be a light for those to be able to see you when they need help. And maybe your light can rub off on them, and then they can become the person in their circle who is the one that talks about God all the time. The next one of their friends, it just kind of just keeps going, you know.
Yeah.
It's planting seeds. That's all I do. I'm planting seeds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, when I don't put it off on people. I don't just come in, hey man, you should. And the Bible says I'm not going to do none of that, because I know it used to turn me off. I can't quote the Bible. There is one quote in that Bible that I can't quote, and I'll say it to anybody any day, because I know what it did for me, right? But for me, it's just to tell my testimony. My testimony is enough for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was going through my thing, I thought it was just me. Everything that I grew up under and was going through in life and stuff like that was happening to me and that I did, I thought it was mine. I had to carry that by myself. But once I realized that I'm not the only one in the world that's going through that same exact thing, okay, I'll just tell my testimony. I'll tell my testimony. If you accept it, you accept it. If you get something from it, you get something from it. But that seed have been planted, and now that seed will grow. And it goes back to what you were saying, Fancy, is that, hey, once that person finds somebody get to talking to them, hey, I remember this conversation that Reg talked to me about, and now they implant that to you.
I remember this post that Reggie made about blah, blah, blah. Let me inbox him and see if, you know, and that's what happens, you know.
Absolutely.
I just think, man, the perspective, y'all remember the parable of the prodigal son?
Yes.
Right? So my dad asked me about that parable one day, and he said, "Man, what you think about this?" And I said to him, I said, "Man, the dude, old boy, never really knew his pop, him or his brother, right? So when he come back, you know, Pop waiting, man, he got the robe, man, the ring, you know, a whole nother deal, right? So and then when he come in, they throw a party, right? And so the other brother's like, you never threw a party for me. Like, I've been here all this time doing this. And the youngest brother, the prodigal son, never knew his dad that way, or he would have never left, right? So I think sometimes when people, you know, have this journey with God, they lose themselves in the process, right? And the kids never really get to know, okay, God really is dope. Like, I mean, when I say he is, like I gotta go eat with the pigs and get all the way low before I can come back and you really show me who you are, right? And so it took that before Dad exposed who he was to his kids. They just knew him as this work dude, right? And so I was like, yo, if Dad would have been, you know, throwing the party for the group, you know, every Friday, then he wouldn't have never left.
Yeah.
He would have been able to experience that it's more to life than what I seen that I don't want to be around, right? So I like what you said, Fancy. And so, you know, I wanna get to the point where I ain't really gotta say nothing. Like just being around me, you feel like, yo, God's here. It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
I feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
been around like certain, I don't know if I could say Christians, but certain people who really advocate for God, but in their presence, you feel like you're not good enough to be with them. Those are the type of quote unquote Christians that I don't like to be around, because for one, you putting on airs and you're not living in your truth. If you're projecting things that make other people feel any kind of way. And one thing I always want people to take away from any experience with me is that I'm not judging you. I'm a safe space. And you know, we can have a debate or a discussion and disagree, and it's not gonna come to blows. Like I want people to always be like, man, she was real cool. I didn't agree with what she said, but I like the way, you know, I want people to take away that. I don't want nobody ever feel like, oh, she was talking down to me, or she made me feel like because I don't go to church every Sunday, which I don't either, that I ain't good enough. I don't want people to ever feel negative judgment coming from me. You know, so I always try to lead. One of my biggest sayings I used to tell my students, I always lead with love, even when interacting with them. You coming in acting crazy, wild, and okay, son, sweetheart, I would talk to them in a kind voice to de-escalate. And they responded so well to that because they're not used to that. Even their parents come up to the school, I want to talk to, hello, good morning, come on, have a seat. I welcome them in. By the time we done, they in tears, they hugging me, you know, and that's what it should be about. And I can feel how I want to feel afterwards. Like you were mean to me, you were nasty. But at the end of the day, I changed that situation around because I didn't meet you with that same energy. And a lot of adults are not taught that. We just respond with the same level of whatever. And it doesn't solve anything. You know, it just escalates situations.
It's because people really don't know their authority. Right? Like you are an authority at that point, right? So you're not about to come in this space and take authority in something that you don't have no jurisdiction in. Nah, you gonna do this, and this. And I love you. But this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing in this body. This is mine.
No, you said it earlier, Flo, about those who will accept it is going to accept it, right?
Yeah.
And those who are not going to accept it in that moment. Maybe it's not for them in that moment. You know, so when I started going through my journey, Herb and my other brother, man, they was there with me every day. I mean, they would call me just to, and they'll be talking because I was in such a dark space and low space that I didn't want to talk. I didn't have that joy that Reggie would have in that, you know what I'm saying, that kick it game. But they weren't even talking to me. They were talking to each other. And it did so much for me. That's why I call these guys my fraternity brother. These are my brothers. You know what I'm saying? These two guys, him and who we mentioned about earlier. And we can be on the phone right now. We're going to talk about just like we're talking right now, right? We might end up talking about God. We might end up talking about football. We might end up talking about women. We might end up talking about marriage. We talk about kids. We talk about the government, talk about P. Diddy. All those things going to come up, right? And nobody's offended by what somebody have to say, you know what I'm saying, and what we're talking about. And we can disagree. You know what I'm saying? You don't end up in argument like, nah, bro, I don't think that. You think that, man? You think? Well, it'd be just like that. So I can talk about God there. They talk about God there. And we talk about any and everything. But those are people who are accepting of you as a person, as an individual, and love you for who you are, not for what you are. So that's what I would get out of it, man.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
All right, boy. We're coming down to the end of this podcast, man. You know, so we definitely enjoying it, boy. We got some good conversation. I told you, man, it's just gonna be real smooth. Now, the last question we always usually ask is to build your own band. Like, where would you your perfect marching band? Like, where would you get your band directors from? Who would be your band director? Who would be your drum majors? Who would be your saxophone? Or you know what I'm saying? However you want to build it, but we want to build it from front to back. How would you build your own band?
Wow. You know, we was built off, you know, the boom. So I would say you know, I'll put you as our head drum major, but you got to wear a different uniform.
Hey, it's your perfect band, man. It could be.
It's your perfect band, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
So we go put Reggie at the front of the boom. So I do drum majors at the boom, but Reggie at the hip. Brass. Man, that's crazy.
That's a difficult question, huh?
Yeah, that brass, man. That brass, man. Current day or just
anytime. Anytime. You get from anywhere. You can put a jazz musician band or something for their brass if you want to.
Yeah, so you go brass. I'm thinking marching band. You go brass. I gotta go with Jackson State again. Yeah. Right? It's a tough one though. I mean, I got 3 in mind. So we gonna go drumline next, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm start taking some notes.
Drumline.
Well, this question always a hard one for everybody, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Drumline, I'm gonna go with Southern.
Okay.
Let's switch it up. I'm gonna go brass Southern. I'm gonna go drumline back at J State.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Tubas. I'm gonna go fan.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm gonna go fan. Let's go. Yo, I'm taking brass back.
Uh-oh. Switch it again.
I'm taking brass back. I remember a couple of years Tennessee State had an amazing brass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about one. I'm going with the best lines that I've seen. You know what I'm saying, throughout the year. So I'm gonna go brass, Tennessee State. I go drum majors, J State. Drumline, I said J State. What else am I missing? Oh man, now we talking about the honeys, man. We gotta talk about the honeys, man. Yeah. About the honeys.
What's been the honeybees?
No, they can keep buzzing.
What do you think the cigarette or the dance?
They can keep buzzing.
They can keep buzzing, man.
Where you getting your dancing girls from, man? Where you getting your dancing girls from?
It's hard, man. The J sets, man. It's hard not to go with the J sets, man. You know, I'm old school. You know what I mean? I like.
You got flags and band director.
Flags, you gotta go with FAMU, man.
Mm-hmm.
Band director, I'm going with Greer, man. And the only reason why I'm going with Greer is I wish he had the opportunity to do it from a college perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
Like what he could have did, I think would be amazing. So, you know, you have your own band directors in college, and there's some good ones, you know. But I would love to see Greer operate in that setting.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right? So
yeah. Well, definitely, man. Hey, we love it, man. Appreciate. Before we go, I know you didn't have no cigar or anything like that, but what type of tobacco you use for your pipe, man?
So, you know, man, I'm not in Detroit, right? So, you know, when you're not in Detroit, you don't have the luxury of getting what you can get in Detroit.
Okay.
And I'm only saying that because of the Middle Eastern deal that we got. You know, most of the tobacco that you get now is not wet the way that it is in Detroit, right? I mean, because they do flavors, they do a whole bunch of stuff. Just the Chaldeans and them, man, they do it different, right? It's a lot cleaner smoke because they don't have all that tar and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you're looking to do something for me, I'll go that route. And it could be anything.
No, what you smoking now today?
Oh, it's a cream blend. I don't even know the brand because it's they barrel it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. When I smoke my pipe, man, I usually use that mint. I just go to a regular cigar spot, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go up to one of them. I like to get that mint one.
Yeah, so I do the cream. It's, you know, my wife kind of it don't smell like smoke. It smells good for her. You know, it smells more like a gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They always taking us out the crib when we want to smoke our thing, man. But we don't be out the crib when they spraying all that damn perfume and stuff and all them hair products.
But you know, with my pipe, I ain't necessarily have to do that.
Okay, with that cream.
Yeah. So it didn't make the house smell like smoke. You know what I mean? It gave it a little nice burn. You know.
That's what I was doing today. I did. Let's see. Here you go. Yeah, the Romeo and Juliet cigarillos.
That's what I mean when I say it's a. So I just.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did a cigarillos today. So those that was looking, I wasn't smoking no marijuanas.
Yeah.
Just cigarillos. It was just small. I know they're like, man, he blowing on screen. That's crazy.
Like, what is he doing?
That's the Reg I know. He don't be giving a damn about shit. No, man. This is a smaller cigar. That's all it was. That's all it was. Yeah. What you drinking on over there, Herb?
Huh?
What you drinking on over there?
Oh, same shit.
He pulling out the bricks.
Like, hold on. You got magic tricks. Fancy, what you smoke? Well, what you have in your hand over there? I know you drinking on something or
that's something. A mocha. It's coffee with hot chocolate.
Ooh. Okay.
Can't even drink coffee.
What type of cigar that is that you had?
This one is a vanilla one, and it smells good. That's all.
Y'all gonna have to start knowing the names of the things that y'all drinking. You can't be a bad bourbon and cigar podcast and don't know what you're smoking.
Y'all see it?
Oh, you got a Tatiana.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, that's a Tatiana.
So I'm smoking a Tatiana and vanilla. I'm fake smoking.
Yeah, those are flavor. Those are those flavor cigars. Those are good for the ladies.
Mine until I walk out this building.
My brother bought me that one.
Now, Tatiana Groovy Blue is a good one, and the chocolate one too.
Okay, write that
That's
down.
a good one.
Hey, what do you like? What's your preference, Reg?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm more. My preference is a real hand rolled cigar, man. I want it. Yeah,
shoot me your address in the deal. I'll get a couple sticks for you. I think you'll like.
Yeah. We'll get together too, man. Put something in the air. Like I said, man, you in the ATL, you in number 4.5 hours away from me.
Yeah, so, man. So we'll definitely get together.
I miss it.
Absolutely, man.
You miss it? You gotta come visit us.
Yeah.
I done moved there 3 times.
Here comes a story, Herb.
No, ain't no story behind it.
The mob coming.
She always gives us. She always hit us with a right hook. She always hit us with a right hook.
Yep, I love Atlanta, but Atlanta's like, no, you just visit. You can't stay here. So, you know.
I get it. It was like that for me for a long time.
I think I might try it again, probably when my kids are in high school, when they get ready to go to college. Should one of them decide they're going down south, we're gonna probably move year before, you know.
So what how many kids? 2, 1, 3?
2.
Boy, girl, boy?
Boy and a girl. My son is 10, my daughter is 8.
Okay. I've got a boy and a girl. My daughter just started high school, man. It's interesting.
Ooh.
And she's going to Pebblebrook, the performing arts school down here. And then my son is 9, he about to be 10, so I get it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. Thank everybody for joining us and checking out our podcast and everything, man. It was a blessing, man. Thank you, Dave, man, for coming on and joining us and talking with us and having a good time, man.
Man, thanks for having me, man. This is truly a blessing, man.
Appreciate it. Now, listen, everybody that's out there, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button and the thumbs up, baby. Hey, go ahead and hit a couple of comments in there. We like to listen and see what y'all got to say to us and everything like that. We love you, baby.